Hey guys, what's up? So it's Saturday and I'm gonna unbox another toy, but you don't need to worry, this channel is not gonna mutate in some kind of toy review channel. The focus of this channel is still video game commentaries and all the stuff that I normally do. But, you know, if I receive a new toy, I thought I'll share with you guys how I unbox it and just basically share my general thoughts with you. So this one is the new Batman Adventures animated series action figure out of the DC Collectibles series. It's a small figure, it's not particularly big, I'm going to measure the size later on, but when I saw it, I just loved it so much because I really used to watch the TV show. I think it was around like the late 90s or something when it was running on TV, and the whole animation series just really kicked off the whole look and feel of this kind of Batman cartoon world. I don't want to go too deep into the details of this TV show because I think I could talk like a month about it, how the whole world felt much more like the 1950s and stuff. I just really loved it. And when I saw this figure, I felt it perfectly captured the drawing style and the animation style of this series, which I really like. So I had to have it. It's just 18 pounds on Amazon, so it's not particularly expensive. Let's look at the box first and then let's see how the figure actually looks once it's out of the box. So on the front, like all the DC packages, and I didn't know they do that actually, they always have like this kind of angled corner here, and then they put the typography on it. Same with the Thrasher Suit Batman. In case you haven't seen that, the review is on my channel. We get a little sticker up here, 75 years of Batman. I guess that's why they brought out these figures. I think it was first available last year, August, like 2014. So it's been around for a while, but I literally just discovered it like a week ago. Then down here, the description, the new Batman Adventures, basically the logo of the TV show. Choking hazard warning, side, nothing particular. On the back, we do get this logo nearly that they also use in the TV show. I really like this because it does really reflect nicely how the whole animated series was drawn with these really hard shadows. Again, beautiful style, really love it. And then on that side, there's not much except down here it says, can you read it? Sculpted by Irene Matar. Bottom nothing, top nothing. So well done, Irene. This is great work. I think it looks absolutely fabulous. I've never seen a figure that captures an animated style so well. So without further ado, I'd say let's get the figure out of the box and let's look at it on its own, and possibly all these accessories, which by the way you can already see here all lined up, like all kinds of Batman tools. So I'm quite curious what that is going to be. So stay tuned, guys. I'll be back in a second with the figure out of the box. So guys, before we get into looking at the actual figure, I thought I'll share the box with you guys and just show you how everything is packaged. So once you remove all the cardboard and all the covering, you get kind of these two layers right here. They sit back to back like that. And then when you take them apart, you get all the accessories on the left, and then Batman, the actual figure with the Batclaw and the Batarang on the right. And you can see there are loads of accessories here. There's the second cape. There's a stand that sits just behind the cape, so you can see all the required pieces are there. So without delaying this any further, I think we should just get it out of the box and take a look at the actual figure. Here we go. And here it is, guys, fresh out of the box, and I think it looks absolutely great. Also, the paint job looks great because I've read a lot of comments on the internet where people said that the paint is bleeding and that it's not very well done. I mean, obviously, it's not 1000% perfect, but I guess for an 18-pound figure, that's what you can expect. I've already changed the cape. You kind of have to pop out his head up here, which is a bit of an effort. I'm not going to do that now. You need to pull quite hard. I was a bit worried I'm going to break it, but I didn't. It's all good. The stand itself is not bad. I think it blends in quite nicely, like you hardly notice it when you look at the figure, which is great. The only thing is that on the bottom, the stand has this kind of print on it, which I guess is a nice print. If you look at it, it doesn't look bad, and I really like it. Like if it would be a poster or something, that would be cool. But is it really necessary? I don't think it really adds anything to the figure, and I personally probably would have preferred if the stand would just be like clean and white, so it kind of highlights the figure a bit more. With all the accessories, into which I'm going to go into a minute, also came a little leaflet which came like this in the box, which is quite nice. And when I opened it, I noticed that it has images of the whole DC Collectibles new Batman Adventure series, basically listing all the figures in it. That's quite cool. So you can see Batman up here, Two-Face, Mr. Freeze, Catwoman, the Joker, Robin, Man-Bat, Poison Ivy, Killer Croc, and Baby Doll down here. That's quite cool. That's actually, I think the Baby Doll looks quite cool. Robin, the Creeper, and Harley Quinn. But I have to say, like, just looking at the overall series, while these are quite cool figures, I just find that the Batman figure stands out, like, in terms of articulation and how it looks and how it represents the actual animated series. I find it is kind of the most attractive and interesting figure from the whole series. But hey, that's just my opinion. On the back of the leaflet, you do get this little print here, which is quite nice. Batman the Animated Series, and the new Batman Adventures on the other side. So it's kind of a mini poster slash leaflet. Well, I wouldn't call it a poster. It's probably, what, like A5 or something. So it's not very big. But let's look a little bit at the figure and its articulation, right? Let me pop it out of the stand right here. It doesn't stand on its own, by the way. You might be able in some positions to make it stand, but I wouldn't try that. I think the stand is necessary. So I'm going to try to see how far I can bring up this arm, and obviously the other cape would be better for that, but I think you can't bring it up further than that. The arm rotates as well, like that. This lower arm end also rotates 360 degrees actually, which is great. And it goes forward and backward, so you can actually lean it slightly backward, and then forward it goes just that far, so you can get an idea. Also, these kind of armors that he has here, like, look really cool. If you just look at that with a bit more detail and a close up, I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So if you just look at the detail on the armor right here, you can see that the paint job is done quite nicely. You can see that the two pieces are neatly separated and they don't really bleed into each other. If you look at the front bat symbol on his chest, it also looks quite nice. It does have a little bit of a trace of like a sloppy paint job down here on the bottom right and bottom left, but it is really not something, you know, that hits my eye and that annoys me majorly. Also, the paint job on his face is like rather good, I feel. Like the separation between the skin tone and the mask, the black of the mask, like I don't see any bleeding there really. It is a quite sharp line, and I don't see how they could have made that any better. Yes, the eyes, the white in the eyes bleeds a tiny bit, but I mean, you really have to go close up to see that. But I'm going way too much into the paint job details here when I should actually talk much more about the articulation. So I've noticed that down here, don't know if you can see that on the right hand, there is a bit of a plastic left over on the joint, which is a little bit annoying. I guess you can pop out these hands, right? They come out relatively easily. Then you can see the joint is actually attached to the hand, and it has a little bit of a plastic leftover piece here, but you see I just peeled it off, so no real problem there. And then you can literally choose any other hand you want and just pop it in here. Well, this is actually a right hand when I should take a left hand. So here we go. You just pop it in, and it's quite easy. It's quite easy to replace these hands. And the hands rotate, obviously, however you want them to sit, and you can angle them as well. Not too much, though. I wouldn't go further than that, but you can angle them both ways. So the middle part is rotating, obviously, again, 360 degrees. That is pretty good. I found that the paint job, sorry, I keep hitting the camera here. I hope it's not too bad. I found that the paint job of the tool belt is a bit matte in color. It's not really like a bright yellow. Like if you compare it to the Thrasher suit Batman right here, which by the way is much bigger, just in terms of size, but you can see how bright, and this is already like not a really full-on bright yellow. However, I do feel it fits quite well with the rest of the figure, simply because everything looks a bit more cartoonish, and all the colors, I guess, in the animated series are not really super bright, so I guess it makes sense and it does work quite well. Now, the only thing in terms of articulation that annoys me a little bit are these little joints down here, and obviously they really crack open the cleanliness, is that even a word, like the cleanness of the whole design, because it is so reduced and so minimal with all these really just sharp edges, that this kind of stands out. But what it allows you to do is you can angle the legs like this quite a bit actually, so you can get him to do some kind of weird dance move right here, or maybe like a karate kick or whatever. So it comes up like 90 degrees in 2 steps. As you can see, I don't want to break it. It comes up in 2 steps. Obviously, you can also bring it forward so it looks like he's marching. Yeah. So that's quite cool. You can do a lot of stuff with that. You can also bring it back like that, so it looks like he's kicking a football or whatever. Football Batman. So that's the legs, and then the knees also come back like this on its own. And oh, that's interesting actually. The boot is rotating. Can you see that? The boot is rotating on itself. I think the shoe is not rotating on itself. No, it's not. You can only kind of pivot it forward and backward. But generally, like, it's not like the biggest articulation of any figure I've ever seen, but it's enough to make it look really cool. And especially with all the accessories, I think it's just perfect, because you can give him the Batarang, you can give him the Bat Claw, you can put him in many different positions, and I might just spend a bit of time just trying to get the perfect position that I really want to see this figure in. So let's look at the accessories in a bit more detail. So the figure does come with a bunch of different accessories. What I've done here is I've separated all the little hands to, this is the right one, all the right hands. These are the left ones. So what you notice is that you actually get 5 right hands and only 4 left hands. Actually, the Batarang here comes off, but it fits really, really nicely into this hand. So yeah, that's basically it. You get a right hand with a Bat Claw already in it. And to be honest, I don't really see where I'm gonna put this Bat Claw, because I've tried to kind of fit it into this hand, but it is not really, like, it's a bit awkward. It doesn't really work like that. And, you know, I mean, you see how he's holding it here, kind of in the middle of his palm, basically. You can't do that with the other, so I think this Bat Claw is, I don't know, a little bit useless. I've also removed actually the hands from the existing figure, so these are all the hands that you get. And all the accessories besides the cape, obviously, which I mentioned earlier. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to put the figure into shape and play around a little bit with all these hands, see what works best, and then kind of come back for a verdict. So guys, after playing around with the figure a little bit, I found that it works the best in kind of a nearly simple position like this. It's not because it's not articulated enough. You can do a lot of stuff with it, but I just feel when it stands in this kind of rather simple pose, then it has like a quite majestic feel to it, which I personally quite enjoy. So I think it's going to sit like this on my desk. One thing that I forgot to do is to measure it, and that's a shame, because I do that with every figure. So I'm bringing in my measuring band here, and it lines up to be about 16.5 centimeters from the very bottom to the top of the ears. I think that's just above 6 inch or something, so it's not a particularly big figure, but it doesn't really bother me for that price. I think it's still a quite good value. Also, I forgot to mention that you can spin his head. You can turn him to the right like this, so quite a bit actually, and then to the left even a bit more. I think it also depends on the cape, but then you get like this quite rough edge back here, which doesn't look great unless you kind of pose him like that with a bit of an angle. I think I'm going to keep it straight, or maybe like angled just ever so slightly. So I really enjoy this figure. I'm really, really happy with it. Also, I noticed that just here there is a bit of a sloppy paint job. There's basically a little black line going from top to bottom, and I'm not sure whether I caused that during my review or whether that was there all the time. I might review my footage and then I'll probably know. So anyway, guys, these are my thoughts. If you have any questions regarding the figure, then please feel free to leave those in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, you can subscribe to my channel, you can leave a like. As I said in the beginning, I normally do more like video game content and loads of commentaries on video game related topics. So anyway, guys, stay tuned, take care, and I hope to see you next time. I'm out. Bye.